hardest part of open leadership?
Being vulnerable.
Being vulnerable. Can you mind expanding on that?
I think, again, I like to pull it back to this is about being human.
Yeah.
And the way that we've been working previously, it's hard to, if you're not in if you're not using open approaches in your environment already, it's very difficult to step in, because being open and using open approaches does require vulnerability, because you have to begin to trust the people that you're collaborating with, which could look simply like reliability and dependability, but it can also go much further than that. And then from a leadership behavior perspective, you have to put yourself out there and model open behaviors, which can be very uncomfortable. And that could come with things like conditioning and programming that we have as individuals, because of the fact that, 95% of our decision-making is done in our unconscious mind, which means that what's controlling that are your experiences, your conditioning, your values, your beliefs. So if you have some bias kind of tucked away in there that you're not really aware of, that could be preventing you, for example, of being inclusive or being collaborative. And so it's a tricky game at first to step into a group being an open leader, because you're like, ah. And I had my own experience with that when I first worked in an open community. Everybody's like, well, we share information and people can look at your projects and they can, tell you what they think about it. And I was like, well, I don't like that. That feels, but that for me was coming from a place of, I didn't trust people I collaborated with because of prior experiences I had. So I had to learn to work through that to become a better leader, and ultimately, has led to expansion of my own mindsets of how to do that and help other people with it.
Yeah.